Hey guys, so as I mentioned in the last video, my car's been having some transmission issues, and more specifically my third gear is having trouble. It's grinding and it's not letting me get into gear sometimes. And I actually tried to take my car into a test drive today, and first and second gear were starting to get that same issue. So I actually ended up deciding to get this used transmission online for a couple $100. So while the transmission's out, we figured we might as well replace the seals on it. So we have the shift selector seal, the input and output shaft seals, and we also have a new reverse light switch since this one's missing it for some reason. So in this video, we're going to show you guys how to replace those, and we're also going to show you guys later how to install a Garagistics DSSR and some of their like motor mounts and transmission mounts. And we also have the upgraded bushings for the shifters as well, which we'll show you guys how to install too. We're just gonna go ahead and finish cleaning up the transmission since Lewis is addicted to shiny parts, even though no one's gonna see it. And then later on, we'll also install the new collection, all that. All right, so let's get started. In case you guys didn't know, we did already spray it with degreaser before we started grinding it, but now we're gonna bring in the heavy degreaser to get into the crevices, and we're gonna try to use a brush to brush it all out. So we got some like oven cleaner degreaser, and hopefully that'll get everything off. So after you spray it, it starts to foam up. You can already tell it's kind of like pulling off some of the, oh well, you can't really tell because we kind of cleaned it, but it's pulling off the grease, and all we have to do is hose it down. But what we're also going to do is scrub it down so we get everything loose, and then we'll start hosing it down. So we just finished our first scrub with the heavy duty degreaser on, and now we're just going to go spray some water on it and see where we're at before hosing it down. And that part we already sprayed, so you can see how clean it is just from that. Yeah, the deep crevices are the hard parts because you can't really get the brush in there. This is where a power washer would be really helpful, but we don't have that right now.
You don't want to piss off your neighbors again.
That too. So now we're just going to keep doing this until it's clean.
All the girls I meet, they're so full of play. It's not even a bother.
Alright, that should be good. So just finished cleaning it for the most part. It's not perfect, but it looks a hell of a lot better than before. Time to get started on the seals now. And he's still going. What the hell, man? Jeez.
But I'll know it's there.
God.
They won't, but I will.
The dirt?
Look at this little, look at this. Look, that's dirt.
That's not a performance, you know. It's not gonna make my car go faster and make my transmission more reliable.
Everybody knows chrome transmission is 10 horsepower.
Oh my gosh.
It's gone.
We've spent way too long on this. Let's move on.
Alright guys, so the next piece is to remove the rear nut for the output shaft to replace that seal. And so what we do is we take a bolt and a chain and we lock this so we keep it from spinning. And the way we do that is we just lock it through one of these holes, and then we take another bolt and we lock it up front. By using this chain, we can keep this from spinning, and we can apply a lot of torque on this to remove it. Now there's one more piece we have to do.
What would that be?
I need my flathead screwdriver because we have to try to get this little locking piece out.
There's a little locking plate that stops the nut from backing out. So when you do this, you might want to get a new one to replace it. But if you can keep the old one in good shape, then I guess you could reuse it. But it's only like $1 piece, so might as well just get a new one.
There we go.
Ooh.
Come on, there we go.
There you go.
Okay, so now, do we have the nut? No. All right, guys, so the socket is a 30 millimeter. And what we did is we ended up having to grind down some of the wall because our socket was a little too thick.
So now it just barely fits. There you go. But before we actually break it loose, we have to heat up the nut. So we're gonna heat it up for a couple minutes with a torch, and then it should break off without a fight, hopefully. But this thing is torqued down to like 170 foot-pounds or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's like 220 or something crazy.
Yeah. All right, let's go heat it up.
Okay.
It's not even a bother if I forgot their name. They don't mind.
Moment of truth right here. Go for it.
Oop.
Nope.
God dang it.
Oh. What the fuck? No? Oh, fuck.
I mean, it feels like it's in real good. Okay. Should we lay it on the side?
Yeah, let's do that, and then let's sit on it. I forgot how we did this. Alright, so the output shaft nut was being a pain, so this is actually what we ended up doing. We bolted it up to my old shell, which we're gonna throw away anyway, so don't feel bad for it. It did its purpose. So we put a bolt through the transmission into the shock for the bumper shock, and that made it so this thing wouldn't spin anymore. Because when you're trying to do it on the ground, the issue is that the transmission will keep turning since it's not mounted to a chassis. So if you're doing this outside of the car, you need to find a way to keep this thing from spinning. And this is our way, but there's other tools that you can use to do this properly. But hey, we got it off. It only took us some ingenuity and an old shell. Don't recommend this way, but we got it done. And we also had to use a lot of heat. So we heated it up for like 2 minutes or so on that nut, and then a little bit of WD-40, which I think helped.
I think so.
Yep, and then cracked it loose. So we're gonna let this cool down, and then we'll go on to the rest. This is probably the hardest one that we've gotten out, and we've done this like 4 times. All right, after a lot of struggle, a lot of heat, a lot of patience, we finally got this thing off. Still hot. This is the old seal. So we're gonna go ahead and replace that with the new one. Honestly, this shouldn't really be a tutorial. I mean, this is just us going through the struggles because we don't have the right tools. Like, all we're using is like flatheads. We broke 2 snap-on flatheads that we found at the junkyard. Just trying to pry that thing off. That's our fault for being dumb. But if you have a jaw puller, the best way is to just have the jaw puller pulling on these flanges, and then put the middle piece right there, and then as you crank it, it'll yank it off super easy and evenly. We chose to do it the hard way. So the next step is to add some silicone on the inside right here. So I've got some RTV right here, and I'm going to go ahead and apply it on the inside of here. So that should be good right there. Just have the RTV all around the inside splines, and that'll make sure that oil doesn't go through. But this is the new seal all tapped in. What did you do? Just grab the right size socket, threw it over, and then tap it in gently, and don't let it sit too far in. You kind of just want it flush, I guess, for this one. Oh, it's good. Oh yeah, or you can grab the old one and do that trick and just tap around it like that. That's what I see a lot of people do too. Up to you. Choice is yours, but as long as you don't, ruin the seal before you get it in, because that would really suck. One of the seals that you should look out for, which we'll show later, is the shift selector seal. It's a really small seal. It's such a pain to install sometimes. There's the sealer right there. There's the new one.
And removing it is a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, removing it, you need to make sure you have the right picks or the right flatheads, and Another way people take out these seals is they tap in a tiny little screw into the seal, and then they pull on the screw, and most of the time it'll yank it out with it. But this seal is so small that it could be a little difficult, but if you can get the right screw, it's worth a try.
All the girls I meet, they're so full of play. It's not even a bother if I forgot their name.
Ah,
Yes.
disgusting. We did it. Fucking. This is not a tutorial. This is just you following our struggles. We don't know what we're doing, honestly, right? Now we're gonna install the new shift selector seal with this socket since it fits right on top. It'll distribute the weight when we press it in, and it'll make sure it doesn't bend or anything. Ours is a 16mm socket, straight from Harbor Freight. Sorry for the washing machine noise, but it's time to drive this thing in, so. There is the new seal installed. That is on there, my friend. Keep stripping off this inside to get to, what is this, empty top seal?
Yep.
Yep.
All the girls I meet, all the girls I meet, all the girls I meet, they're so full of play. It's not even a bother.
Make sure you put it the right way. Wait. No. No. Other way. That way, yeah. Alright. Yeah, that's right. That's good. You can use this, like, set it down flat and put the 30 over it.
Actually, it's going in by hand.
Oh, sweet. I guess that's the best way. Just to be safe, we're going to go ahead and put RTV around this outer edge. It looks like there's some type of thing around there before, so I'm going to assume it's some RTV sealant. Because we don't want to be having to go back here again, or go through all this work and have it leak. This looks pretty good to me. I'm just gonna let it sit for a little bit so the silicone hardens a little bit, or it gets a little squishy, and then I'm gonna throw that in there. I'm gonna clean up all the other excess RTV that I got around on here. We're almost done, but before we forget, we're gonna go ahead and put in the reverse light switch, which I don't even have in my E30 right now, because I just never bought one. I don't know why. But it's super easy. It's literally just this bolt, which I think the previous owner put this one in here to replace it because he didn't have that reverse light switch. So we're just going to take this one off. We already cracked it loose. Oh, man. This is a big-ass bolt. No wonder it didn't seat all the way. Damn. All right. And then this is the reverse light switch. Bada boom. Make sure you get a deep socket, because if you get a short one, it'll just hit these plugs or hit the connectors. Just get one of those, and then you just torque it down pretty decently. Alright, not too hard. And there you go, that's how you do it. Normally there's the harness that goes through here, and then it'll go back onto some clips and shifter housing, and then through the hole and connect to the harness under your shift boot, and that should be it. So after a long night, we finally finished resealing the transmission. It took a little bit longer than we expected, and we just didn't have the right tools for it. If you have like a seal puller, it'll make things so much easier. If you have a jaw puller, that'll be a lot easier. And if you have like a air impact socket or a really strong electric impact socket to get that rear nut out, because that thing was super hard for us. Especially since we had the transmission out of the car and we had nothing to keep it torqued down other than like my old shell. Other than that, all we have to do is just refill it with some transmission fluid, and then just wait until we got to replace the clutch. So that'll be the next step. That'll probably be the next video, or ARP head studs will be the next video. So stay tuned for those. As of now, transmission is good. We're also going to show you guys how to install Guragistics DSSR along with some of their polyurethane and Delrin bushings for the shifter to make it a lot stiffer. And we're going to throw in a Z3 1.9 shifter for a shorter throw. So stay tuned for that. It's pretty much going to remove all the slop from the shifter. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for those other videos. We'll show you guys how to do all that other stuff. Sorry if this one wasn't that helpful. We just don't have the right tools for that, to do it correctly. But I hope this shows you that it's possible to do it with just some basic tools. But yeah, anyways.
All right, guys, stay tuned. Good night.
God, we have to clean all this. Look at this.
Oh, jeez.
God.
But once that's in, it's gonna be so nice.
I know.